Hi, George.
Hi, Harold. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thank God.
Trying to make sense of this Gemara here.
These are very challenging Gemaras.
Very. I read this thing over and over and over. It just doesn't sink in. I don't know. Maybe one day.
It's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I may have to get up. I have to go do something for my wife in a second, but
You better.
I better, otherwise I will be terminated.
It's good for you.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Shalom.
Hey, Walter. Nice to see you
What's
home.
doing?
Everything's okay with you?
As good as it can be.
How were the nurses? They treated you nicely?
They did actually. I didn't like what they gave me.
Uh-huh. Well, that was the male nurses. How about the female nurses?
And they did I I got myocarditis. That's what happened.
You knew you had that before?
No, I got it from the vaccine that I took on Thursday. I took a
What, COVID?
no, no. I took a shingles, mate. Shingles.
Oh. Oh my God. Call
Crazy.
up Bobby Kennedy.
He's right. It's crazy.
Yeah, he was saying,
I'm wondering. There's recorded cases of it,
yeah.
but from shingles, but I'm like 1 in 1 million or something. Crazy stuff, number.
Wow. Scary.
So yeah, I was in the emergency room. Very scary. I, you know, I had a low resting heart rate. Motzei Shabbos, I came home. I had it on Thursday. I didn't feel so good. Motzei Shabbos, I came home
Mhm.
from shul. Um, my resting heart and my heart rate jumped from like 45, and it's usually at 45, it's jumped to 130 in one
What?
second.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I did it a few, then yeah. Yep.
I can't even make a joke about it because that makes no sense.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So stay away from coffee.
So you know the name of the guy that delivered this stuff?
1 second.
Ernie, you missed the party at your house.
I was there. I missed you.
You missed me. I missed the Jets. That's what I missed.
Now, how do we get it to record?
I think it was recorded.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure of
One of the
anything.
nights, it didn't record.
You want to go off and you start it and then we'll come on.
Okay, let me go out.
Okay, let's all go out, Harold, and you've got to tell George. I don't know where George is. Tell George to go.
George?
Hi, George.
Hi, Ernie. Sorry about that.
No problem. No, I told them to sign out because I didn't think the recording was going, but it is going, so that's fine. Okay, they're going to sign in now. Let's give them a second to sign in.
Mario said something, not Mario, Harold said something very good. He said how hard these dafs. Walter, you said how hard the dafs were. This
Yeah.
is why I sit and do it twice. I do it in Spanish first to see if something penetrates, and then I can listen to Ernie.
Okay. Okay, we're on Chaf Aleph, 21. So we're talking about there are two different kinds of shvua. A shvua shav and a shvua sheker. And the Gemara said that they were shav v'sheker echad hein. Just like shomer v'zochor b'dibur echad, shvua shav and a shvua sheker are also one. How so? Kishem shemevi korban al shvua sheker, which is a sheker going forward, which is an oath going forward. Like I say, I take an oath that I'm going to eat today a loaf of bread, or I'm not going to eat a loaf of bread. That's a sheker. Kach maybe korban al shvua shav, which is an oath going backwards, like saying, I take an oath that yesterday I ate a piece of bread, or yesterday I didn't eat a piece of bread. And that's the sheet of Rabbi Kiva. Shemachayiv l'shavar kelahaba. Rabbi Kiva said you're chayiv the same way for future oaths as in past oaths. Rabbi Shmuel argued. Meisvei. I'm going to ask a steer on this notion that Rabbi Yochanan said that you call a oath for the future shvua sheker, because it says Ezehu shvua shav. What's considered like a shav shvua? Nishba l'shanas es yadula adam. You say, I take an oath that the sky is not blue. Well, everybody knows that the sky is blue. So that's a shvua shav. Shvua sheker is nishba l'achliv. A shvua sheker is also something that you take an oath that against something that we know is the truth. And that's clearly something that happened in the past, not in the future. So, Ema, you have to amend Nishba u'machliv, that he took an oath to either do or not to do something. And then he said, I took an oath to do something. And then later on he switched and he didn't do it. So, Ki asa Ravin, Rav Yirmi, Rav Avu, Rav Yochanan, somebody who takes an oath, achalti v'lo achalti, in the past, either I ate a loaf of bread or I didn't, and it wasn't true, that's a shvua sheker. Vazarte, where is the lav? Milo sishbu b'shmila shakir. Don't take an oath in my name falsely. Now, if I take an oath for the future, oichel v'lo oichel, it's oiver b'lo yachel dvaro. There's a pasuk in Bamidbar, lo yachel dvaro, don't go against your word. The ezo he shvua shav. Nishba l'shanas zayadu adam. You take an oath against something that everybody knows is true. Rav Papa. Had Rav Avo lav b'feirushit, but we never heard Rav Avo actually say this directly. Ela mechlalit, we deduced it from something he said. The Rav Yidi bar Avin Rav Amram Rav Yitzchak Rav Yochanan Rav Yudah Oimim Mishum Rav Yossi Aglili. Kol lo sasei sheb'Torah. Every negative commandment in the Torah, if it's a lav sheyesh bo ma'isa, if it's got an action and he violated it, loikin alav, you get malchus. B'shein bo ma'isa, if it's a lav that has no action, ain't loikin alav, except there's exceptions. Chutz minishba, if you take an oath and you go against your oath, or meimar, you make a tmura, or mekalel es chaver b'shein, you curse your friend. All of these you get malchus, even though dibur is not a mice. Now nishba, where is the source for the Malkus for Nishba. Amr Rav Yochanan Mishum Rav Shimon ben Yochai. Amr Kro Lo Sisa as Shem Hashem Lokecha Lashav Ki Lo Yinake Hashem Eis Asher Yisah Shmo Lashav. And we darshan based in Shmala Emenak Neisai. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to clean up and give you atonement with tshuva alone. Aval based in Shamata Makinoso Manakinoso. But based in on earth, by giving you Malchus, gives you atonement. Armle Papa Labaya, who says the Malchikum Rachmana, Lo Yinake Klal, maybe he doesn't get atonement at all. No. Because Iksiv Kilo Yinake, so I would say that's correct. They'll get no atonement. Hashta Dachsiv Kilo Yinake Hashem, only Hashem is not going to clean him up. Hashem hu shein menake. Aval bezin shomat makinoso and menakinoso. The human court will give him malchus and clean him. Fine. Ashkechan shvur shav. You found me the source of the law for a shvur shav. That you get malchus even though, what kind of action did you do? You did dibur. Dibur is not considered maisa. What about shvur sheker minah? Rav Yochanan Didei said, L'shav shtei pa'amim. In the Aseret Dibros, it says, Lo sisa, Hashem lokecha l'shav. Ki lo yinake Hashem, eis asher yisah shmo l'shav. So what do we need both shavs for? Imenu in l'shvur shav. Imenu in l'shvur sheker. V'havi bo Ravavo. And Ravavo analyzed this. Hai shvur sheker. This shvur sheker that Rav Yochanan says you get malchus from shav hechidami. What kind of oath did he take? He took an oath, I'm not going to eat a loaf of bread. And then later on he ate a loaf of bread. Ochal. Well, achila is a maisa. Lav sheish b'maisahu. And that doesn't fall into this category that we're talking about. Ela shamar shvur she'oichal v'lo achal. Must be he took an oath to eat, and he didn't eat. By not eating, that's a passive act. So, Haimi Loike, nobody holds he gets malchus. Va'itmar, shvur she'oichal kikar zu hayom. A person takes an oath that he's going to eat this loaf today. Over hayom v'lo ochla. And the day passed and he didn't eat it. So there's a machloikis Rav Yochanan Reish Lakish Damar Tarvayu Eino Loket. Now they don't argue regarding the din. They both hold you don't get malchus, but they do it for different reasons. Rav Yochanan Amar Eino Loike Mishum Dav Lav Shem B'Maisa. By sitting quietly and not eating the loaf, that's a lav without action. Chalav Shem B'Maisa and Loikin a lav. Reish Lakish says you don't get malchus for a different reason. Eino Loike Mishum Dav Asra Safek. When you give a straw, you say, if you don't eat, you're going to get malchus. But he has a whole day to maybe eat. And you have to give asra right before. So, asra sofik lo shma asra. Amr vavo. Tehei, this shvur sheker could also work if you say that you get a lav even without a maisa. Be'achalti v'lo achalti. That looking in the past, if you took an oath, I ate or I didn't eat. So you could also get malchus. So we see that Rav Avon and Rav Yochanan, you do get malchus for shvur sheker. Umayshna. Why then is there a difference between if you take an oath for the future? Amar Rava beferish rifta Torah shvur sheker doimel l'shav. The Torah compared a shvur sheker l'shvur shav. Ma shav l'she'avar. A shvur shav is a past tense. You're talking about a reality, something about reality, the sky is blue. That's in the past tense. Av sheker nami is only for l'shavar. Eisvei Rav Yirmiyah Rav Avo. Someone who says shvur shlo oichel ki karzu. I take a note that I'm not going to eat this loaf today. And then he says it again. Shvur shlo yochlena. Or shvur shlo yochlena. And then he ends up eating it. V'achla. Eino chai v'lachas. And this is Zui Shvuas Bitui, Shechayavan Alzdono Makis, Val shegigoso korban oil v'yored. If you do it b'mezid, you get malchus. If you do it b'shogeg, you can bring a sliding scale korban. What is this zuhi lemu'ute mai? This is the example of not something else. Lav lemu'uti achalti v'lo achalti, a past tense oath, which it seems the Bryce is saying to lo lucky, that you wouldn't get malchus. More says lo. It's lemu'uti achalti v'lo achalti mi korban. That means a past tense shvua is excluded from bringing a korban if you violated that. Zui shal shegigoso korban ol v'yored, that the going forward, if you don't do something, you get a korban of achalti v'lo achalti. If you talk about a past tense oath and you didn't fulfill it, then you don't bring a korban. And that's Rabbi Shmuel, because he holds you only get malchus for oaths going in the future, not in the past. But that's korban aval milky lucky. But if you take a false past tense oath, you would get malchus even according to Rabbi Shmuel. Well, if that's so, aim is seifa. We say zui shvua shav shechayav el zdon malchus val shegoso pot. This is an example of a shvua that if you do it b'mezid, you get malchus, but b'shoigeg you don't bring a korban. What is this zuhi lemute mai? Lav lemeuti achalti v'lo achalti. The past tense oath, and we see that the lo lucky. Well, again, it says lo. Zui al shegagoso poter mi korban. Maybe there's a patur from korban. Achalti v'lo achalti al shegagoso chayiv korban. There on a shoygig you would bring a korban, which is Rabbi Kiva. Shemachayiv l'sha'avar kilaba, not like Rabbi Shmuel, who only is chayiv a korban on the future. Rabbi Kiva says it's both ways. But how can you tell me ha'amrid reisha Rabbi Shmuel? Now, if the reisha is Rabbi Shmuel, the sefer Rabbi Kiva, you can't have a split Mishnah. Rather, kula Rabbi Kiva. The reisha lav lemu'uti chalti v'lo chalti. The reisha with zui is not coming to exclude the case of past tense oath mi korban. El lemu'uti oichel v'lo yochel mi malchus. The case of a future oath, where you say, I'm going to eat something, you don't eat it. That you don't get malchus because you didn't do a maisa. Aval b'korban mechayiv. If you did it b'shogeg, you would bring a korban. Umayshna, because mistavra koi bilahabo memoid lahabo. When he's dealing with shvuas oaths for the future, we're going to continue in that vein. But if you're koi bilahabo memayed l'shoavar, if you're dealing with a future oath, why are you switching gears and saying we exclude the case of a past tense oath? So it makes sense that the whole thing is Rabbi Kiva, where Rabbi Kiva makes no differentiation between going forward or going backwards. And the Zui and the Reisha excludes the case where when he doesn't eat, he doesn't get malchus because it's a passive lav. And the Seifa, when he gives an oath on the past tense, it's to make you chayiv on a korban. Okay. Shvur shaloi oichel. A person takes an oath, I'm not going to eat. Now, normally by prohibited lavim coming to eating, usually you have to eat a kazayas. You have to eat a certain shear. Here, though, if he says, I take an oath, I'm not going to eat anything, the achal kolshu, and he ate even a little bit, chayiv. You're chayiv, iboiluhu. Rabbi Kiva b'chol haTorah kula ki Rabbi Shimon sfirli. Rabbi Kiva throughout the Torah holds like Rabbi Shimon. The mechayiv b'mashu. Rabbi Shimon holds that even if you eat less than the kazayas, on all the various, don't eat chaylev, don't eat chazir, you get a chiyuv even less than the kazayas. The Tanya. Rabbi Shimon Oimer, even kolshu, any kind of eating, even less than the kazayas, of anything that's prohibited, you get malchus lamalchus. Why do the Chachamim talk about kazayas? Lomer kazayas elin in korban. If it's an isra achila that if you would bring a korban for it b'shoigeg, you only bring a korban if you had kazayas. Uvedinu, the boy of flugi ba'alma. The Chacham Rabbi Kiva should have argued in a general case, in all Isurei Torah. Why do we point out this machlokas here? Haidi komiflaki hacha by Shavuos to show you how powerful the Rabbanon are. Loidicha koichan Rabbanon. The Afa gav the ikle meimar. Hoyel umafaresh. Listen, by Chalev, by Nevela, by Chazir, the Torah established a rule, you've got to eat a kazayas to violate it. But if a person takes his own private shvu and he says, I'm not going to eat anything, even a morsel. So you might have said, even though you might say, since a person can control his oath, he would be chayiv and the chacham would agree. And therefore, even if he doesn't specify and he just takes an oath stam, nami chayiv. Kamash Malon the Patri, that the chacham say, no, if he's not mefarish, that I'm violating my oath, even if I eat a nothing, a morsel, if he just takes a stam oath, he would not be chayiv if he ate less than a kazayis. Or do we say, O dilma ba'alma krabonon sfirli? Maybe the chacham held Rabbi Kiva that by all other isurim, the shir is kazayis. Why is shvua different? Ha'chaynu taima ho'lu mefarish chayiv stam nami chayiv. Since in an oath I can take an oath and say I'm going to violate my oath even if I eat a little bit of it. Maybe if I take an oath stam of achalti, I'm also going to be chayiv if I eat a little bit. So these are the two studies. So Toshma. The Amar Rabbi Kiva, the Chachamim said Rabbi Kiva, Heichan matzinu b'oichel kol shu chayiv shezeh chayiv. Give me an example, Rabbi Kiva, anywhere else in the Torah, where if you eat a mashu, you're chayiv, that here in the case of Shua, it would be chayiv. Now, if it's true, the im isa, that Rabbi Kiva holds by all of the Risurim, it's also b'mashu like Rabbi Shimon. Leima lahu, the Rabbi Kiva could have answered the Chachamim, listen, Ana b'chol HaTorah kula Rabbi Shimon severely. By all other Risurim, Chalev, Chazir, Nevela, I hold like Rabbi Shimon that even if you eat a mashu, I'm chayiv. But we say no. L'divrei d'Rabbanan kamerlu. Rabbi Kiva is responding to the sheet of the Chachamim. Lididi b'chol HaTorah kulak Rabbi Shimon tzvirli. Ein a chanami. I hold like Rabbi Shimon. By all of the Risurim in the Torah, it's even b'mashu. But you lididchu, that you need a kazayas, at least oidally, at least admit to me here, Mia, since a person who takes an oath can take a specific oath and say, even if I eat a mashu, I'm going to be chayiv my oath. So if I just take a stam oath and say, if I eat anything, I can eat, I'm over the oath with a mashu. That's what Rabbi Kiva says to the Chachamim. But, v'amalei rabbanan lo. So, no proof from the Baraisa we brought. Toshma. We're going to bring a Baraisa from Nazir. Rabbi Kiva Omer. Nazir sheshar pito b'yayin. A Nazir is not allowed to drink wine. Vishara pito b'yayin. And he soaked his loaf of bread in wine. V'yesh bo k'dei litzaref. Perhaps the bread with the wine, if you add it up, it'll be kazayis chayiv. Now, if you tell me Rabbi Kiva holds like Rabbi Shimon that in the rest of the Torah these averes is only b'mashu, lama li l'tzaref. Even shtiyas yain kolshu would make him chayiv. So that's one kasha. V'otnan. There's another Mishnah. Shvua shloi oichel. A person takes an oath, I'm not going to eat. Now, ochal nevelas atrefis, shkotzim v'ramashim. He eats a shtik nevela or trefa, or a shrimp, or a cockroach. So, chayiv. So the Tanna Kama says, listen, you took an oath not to eat, you ate something. But Rav Shimon Poiter, Rav Shimon says, yeah, eat, got to eat something that you're allowed to eat. Das vavinen bo. Amai chayiv. According to the opinion that you're over the shvua, even if you ate something non-kosher, why would you be chayiv? Mushba v'oimed bar sinaihu. You already took a shvua that you don't, when we accepted the Torah, that you're not going to eat these isurim. And a new shvua is not going to be chal on that shvua. So why are you getting me chayiv? So Rav Shmuel, Rav Yochanan, Damer Tavayu, because you're going to be chayiv because b'kol dvarim mutarim dvarim asrei. He included permitted food items with the prohibited food items. When he said, I take an oath I'm not going to eat. So since the oath will have a chalois on the dvarim mutarim, they take a hold on the dvarim asrim as well. That's the way Rav Yochanan explains. Reish Lakish Amar, Yatamoitse. We're not going to see that you're going to be chayv shvua on eating something prohibited. Ele ibn mafarish, chatzi shir. He took an oath. I'm not even going to eat half a kazayas because on a half a kazayas we were not mushba v'oimed mar Sinai. The laws on our Sinai was a kazayas. So he took an oath on a half a kazayas. Now there's no shvua, so there's no problem of shvua shechal shvua. That's why there's a chiyuv. Alibid Rabbanon, that normally when you take an unspecified oath, you're only osir b'kazayas, and therefore you're not mushba v'oimed mar Sinai half a kazayas. So ibistam v'alibid Rekiva, if he took a general oath, not specific, and we're holding like Rabbi Kiva, the Amar Adam Osir Atzma B'Shul B'Kol Shu, that a person has the ability to prohibit himself even B'Kol Shu, V'Yisagedech Ba'alma, that in general Rabbi Kiva holds like Rabbi Shimon's Sphirale, that throughout the Torah he agrees with Rabbi Shimon that it's Kol Shu, so that this thing about the Shvua Chalal Shvua is going to be a problem because Kol Shu Nami Mushba V'Oimim Mar Sinaihu. If Rabbi Kiva holds like Rabbi Shimon that even in a Torah you can't eat less than the kazayas, then the second shvur wouldn't have a chalois because we are mushba v'oimed bar Sinai. This is the final proof and the nail in the coffin. Elalav shvrami noah that Rabbi Kiva b'amak and Rabbanon spherely. That Rabbi Kiva holds not like Rabbi Shimon, but rather like Rabbanon, that throughout the rest of the Torah, when you eat other yisrim, you need a kazayas. Shema minah, good raya. Where do we see that if you eat something even less than kazayas, you're chayiv? What do you mean? V'lo v'reina mola. An ant, you're chayiv, and it's less than kazayas. The Gemara answers, bury your shiny. An ant is a whole creature. So there's a special din in a berry. It's choshuv, and that's why you're chayiv. Very hegdish. So hegdish, the Gemara is saying, you also can be chayiv, even for less than a shear. Yeah, but haba'in and shava pruta. It's got to be, because to be nanef from chayiv mi'ila, it's got to be worth at least a pruta. So it's some shear. And varei mefarish. If a person specifically took an oath where he said, I'm taking a note that I'm not even eating kolshu, so even the chachamim hold it, you're chayiv. So the Gemara answers, mefarish nami keber yadami. Taking a specific oath like that creates a situation like eating an ant. That even this is a sheer cotton, in his eyes, it's a davar chashuv. If a person takes an oath, I'm not going to eat dirt. He ate it. So it's not roy lachila. You're chayiv even for kolshu. So the Gemara will give a different answer, and we'll learn that tomorrow. So tomorrow, let's just do housekeeping here. Tomorrow we'll learn at 4:30.
Okay.
Now, Motzei Shabbos, I'm going to be in the valley. I'm not going to make it home in time, like to teach even at 9 o'clock. So if you wanted to learn, we'd have to do it late, like maybe 10 o'clock. It might be too late. So I may just have to do double duty on Sunday.
Okay.
Now, the Navi Shir, Sunday night's going to be moved to 7 o'clock. It's going to be from 7 to 8. So Daf Yomi,
How come you're moving it early?
okay, you're going to, there's an event. There's going to be an event. You're going to know about it. There's an event at 7 o'clock. So it's from 7 to 8. We're going to have the Navi Shir. And the Daf Yomi will be earlier, maybe 5 o'clock, something like that.
It's Yom Yerushalayim on Sunday.
Sunday night.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Yom Yerushalayim. So I don't know what's going on Yom Yerushalayim town.
Oh, there is a tefillah in the morning at Young Israel with Hallel.
Yeah, I don't know. I never got the notice about it. I'm sponsoring
That
it.
I got in the morning. That's in the morning. I didn't see anything at night.
Where did you get that from?
I got an email from Young Israel Century City. Oh, so Harold and Walter. I didn't want.
Yeah.
Rabbi Siegelman told me he was going to reach out to you. One of the Gedolei Hador, the Posek Hador after Rav Moshe, his name is Rav Shmuel First. He lives in Chicago, and he's going to be at my home.
Oh,
And Rabbi Siegelman said he was going to invite you and Walter to come as well. Tzvika's be invited. That means
when is this? When is this
Rabbi
happening?
Bass, Rabbi Sauer at my home at 8:30
When? Sunday night?
Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
Sunday
Yom
night.
Yerushalayim. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, but it's going to be Ma'ariv is much earlier. So if we do go to Ma'ariv
And
Bismar,
Mariv, you got to daven Mariv from 7 to 8. I mean, we're going to learn from 7 to 8. How are you going to have a Mariv? Where you davening Mariv?
well, we're going to have a plug. We have our Mincha Ma'ariv plug Mincha.
Yeah, but you get okay. It's fine.
I mean, for us.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go in the morning to it's Monday morning. It's Memorial Day.
I understand, but can you send me that invitation, please? Because I sponsored it. I never got an invitation. I sponsored it for the Koilo.
Correct. I saw it was Rav Steinmetz and who did they have pictured? They had Rav Steinmetz. What did I see?
So what is this you're talking about, Walter? This is
So Monday morning at Young Israel Century City,
oh.
there's like a tefillah with a guitar, with
What
music.
time is that going to be?
What time?
I think it's 8 o'clock.
Can you send me that? Can you send it to the Daf?
If I have it, I'll get it and I'll send it out to everybody. I hopefully.
Okay, I wish you would have sent it to me. I gave him money for it. And I didn't see it. Okay.
Okay, very good.
That's the schedule. That's
You
the-
know that the lesson is you give the money afterwards before you.
I'll send them. If I find it, I'll send it to you. Because I don't think I saved the email. Because I
You
read
know what else? I'll reach out to Rabbi Steinmetz and ask him to send me the invitation. Then I can send it to you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Got it. 4:30 tomorrow then.
4:30 tomorrow.
Thanks.
See you later.